question you said?
Was it Peter who referred you to Dr. Tom?
Yeah, I think it was Peter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't, because then there was hardly any internet. See, that time, there was internet, but it wasn't like it is today. Like you could search and all that. I think I told you, even when I translated the book, there was I couldn't use the internet or app or anything like that. I had to actually do it physically myself.
Yes, that's very nice. Did Peter also introduce you to Michael Meanwell?
No. I heard about him, but I don't know him. No.
Okay, I see. It's very interesting.
Do you know him?
Yes, I know both.
Okay.
Michael Meanwell just passed away a few months ago.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So did you ask Michel Desmarquet or Tom Charcot about anything that's not written in the book?
Oh, we had certain discussions when I translated the book. I asked him certain questions, like which I didn't know, or there's so many difficult paragraphs and words in there and meanings. You can easily have the wrong idea. If you translate something, you have to be sure.
Yes.
That you do it right.
Yes.
And it took me best part of 3 years, which is a long time, I'm not a professional translator. That's and I was thinking about that. You said, you sent that book to your friend. Yes. I was thinking about it. I think that might be another translation. Somebody else might, because if you got it from Amazon, my translation never was on Amazon, never ever.
I see.
So it might have been, there could have been other people who translated it.
I see.
I don't know, but I know my translation wasn't that bad. That it was okay.
Yeah, because the German friend that I sent the translation to is a very important person. The contact that I had, that is related to the other book that I actually translated from German into English using a tool. I don't speak German myself, but I used a tool to translate the book that he had a copyright from German to English. And that book is actually about the Illuminati, a secret society that was founded in Germany.
They started in Germany. I heard about it. I'm not that familiar with it, but they go back a long time, don't they?
Yes, 1776. But going back to your translation process, you asked Michel or Tom Charcot some of the things that you were not sure, and did you get additional information or insights about what's not written in the book?
Yes, he told me certain things because he knew Michel personally.
Yes.
Like he also helped him to do all the they had sort of workshops and display, like Michel sort of went around Australia and had different talks about that. There's a video actually. Have you seen? There's a video of him where he has those talks. Have you seen that? Yeah,
I've seen the video. Yes.
And I got a lot of information out of that too. I kept listening to his video, and Tom didn't know that much more than in the book. It's just whatever you make up your own mind about it. It's what do you think is this is and that is, and there's certain things they're like. It's an answer, but it's also it still needs a question. As soon as you get an answer, you have a question again, and it's very hard to like I said, you have to do your homework yourself. They don't tell you everything.
Yes, So regarding the article that I wrote, the second coming of Christ or Jesus, what questions do you have?
Well, you said listen to one of your interviews
Yes.
on the internet, and you said you put the message in that article, Second Coming of Christ, what Michel told you in private, what he didn't write in the book.
Yes, exactly.
You
I
know,
give actually as many clues as possible.
But I mean, you were lucky. I tried the same like you did. I tried to contact him, but I never got there. I never I found out later exactly where he lives, but then he was already dead. He died already in the meantime. But I was going to ask him similar questions, and you said he confided in you and told you, and I don't know how many other things he didn't write in the book. How many other things were there actually? I mean, was it lots of stuff, or was it only one or two articles, or one or two questions? Or
you know, I think there were many things that he didn't put in the book, and I tried to get as much information as possible from him about all the things that he didn't put in the book, and
was he forthcoming with that, or was he would have been reluctant?
You know, the second time when I met him, he told me that one thing that he didn't put in the book immediately after he saw me, in about a few minutes. He just told me what he didn't write in the book. And then I learned about that one thing in which I gave as many clues as possible in the article. And then afterwards, the next day, we went on a trip. We actually went on a boat, like with my friend. And then when my friend was not around, I asked him, like, what else besides the one thing that you told me that you didn't put in the book? And then he said, you know, there are others, but that's the main thing. That's the main thing. So the thing that he told me is actually the most important thing that he wanted to convey to me. So I didn't really push him that time about other things that he knew but didn't put in the book, because that would be impolite, because he told me that's the main thing. And I thought I would have another opportunity to visit him, maybe the third time or the fourth time. Then I would have other opportunities to ask him additional questions. But I didn't get that opportunity. Like 3 or 4 months after I left the second time that I met him, he passed away. So besides that one thing that he told me, he also mentioned other things, like things that nowadays people would question about. For example, he believed that the planes could not fly over or on top of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. He also says the Tibetans were originally from Mars. He also said when he was on the planet Thiaoouba, I asked him, like, what did you witness? Like what did they do? What did they do the most of the time? He said most of them just were meditating most of the time. And then he also mentioned that they communicated with each other through telepathy, and they downloaded the information from each other through like kind of like on computer download, two people like sitting next to each other.
I know about that. Yeah, that's they're very highly. Yeah, we all will get there one day, hopefully. But they're very, very highly involved. I mean, the highest level you can apparently you can be. But what was what was it exactly? One of the you were gonna share that information. What else? I mean, to fly over the pyramid, I know all this. They cannot. But was there anything extraordinary? Something what he didn't write in the book?
Well, the second time that I met him, we were watching television. Like he was watching television when Donald Trump, was shown in one of the news shows, And he asked me, what do you think about Donald Trump? I said, I didn't know which way he was going because he was very controversial. So I said, in a very neutral way, I said he was doing his best. That's what I think. And then I asked him back, what do you think about Donald Trump? He said, he says that he thinks he's going to get assassinated. And then I didn't ask him further because I thought that it's very obvious that he was comparing Donald Trump to like Martin Luther King or Gandhi, in which Donald Trump was trying to make great changes to the world. This is what I thought at that time. And then I was very interested in knowing the families that control the world. I specifically asked him, like, who are the families, the families? And he said there are 12 families according to Tao.
Yeah.
And then he didn't really elaborate, but he said that the Catholic Church was a main force against the publication of the book, and that actually caused like Tom Chaco to lose his job.
Okay, yeah, there would have been, yeah, there would have been panicking for sure. They don't want things like that to come out. Well,
Yeah, I was actually really interested in knowing like the 12 families that he mentioned, and I was doing a lot of research. I asked him like who the 12 families were, like which 12 families, but he didn't say to me. But I heard from others, like he mentioned that the royal family of the UK and the Catholic Church were two of them, and this is what I heard from others. I'm not sure if that's. I didn't hear that directly from him, but I heard from others.
I think those 12 families they keep very secret. I think you wouldn't recognize him. They're very smart, extremely smart, I would say. They don't expose themselves, you know, like they haven't got the ego like other people have. They're just they're just in the background.
Yeah, this is the reason I really want to encourage you to read the book that I translated from German into English, the 334 Lies, Thousands Lies, LIES book that talks about the Illuminati, because that is really enlightening to how the world is run today. And I also have personal contacts that verify the information of the book, 334 Lies, through their personal experiences and encounters in real life regarding the abilities of the members of the secret society. And if I say that publicly, people would think that I'm a lunatic or I'm crazy, but it really happened to my friend. And I do believe the validity of my friend's personal encounters.
Okay, what happened to him?
Well, he was, well, let me tell something about him. He lives in the Bay Area, north of San Francisco, in California. He is Chinese but speaks English. He contacted me after seeing a video interview of mine about the Book Thiaoouba Prophecy. He called me and saying that, Samuel, you know, I could levitate when I was young. Because I practiced a certain energy practice or qigong, and after fasting for a few days, he just made his energy like a energy sphere going from his dantian or the stomach area up to the body, and to rotate it to the top of the head and to the back, and then to making like a circle like this. After that, when he was in total relaxation, he had this levitation experience. When he was young, but he lost the ability after he came to the US because he was mostly concentrated in his mundane affairs, like making money and things like that. So back in the year 2000, 2000 or so, or 2002, 2000, he had a trip to Hong Kong in which he was introduced to this mysterious person. very wealthy, so appeared to be a very wealthy person from mainland China, but lives in Hong Kong temporarily, who drove Rolls Royce, and very rare in Hong Kong to drive that kind of luxurious car at that time. And he had a very beautiful lady, always brought that beautiful lady that seems to be his either bodyguard or assistant. And he, the reason he was introduced to him was because that person, according to his intermediary friend, has a like a medication or pill that would make a person not get sick, and also kind of like use the fountain of youth, like not age that fast, or can live a long life. According to that person, yeah, the intermediary friend. So that's the reason he was introduced to him. And then through a lot of encounters in which I would just omit because it relates to the Chinese politics, and it's not really relevant to a lot of the English-speaking people. And then among which my friend didn't believe the ability or capability of him and also his friends, who explained to him that, to my friend, how the world financial system is run. According to him, like we all think that the world financial system is actually managed by the central banks of the world, but it's only partially true. The central banks also use agents, like through what they would call medium-term bonds, to supply money or currency to the world, and the agents would get a lot of commission fees, and a lot of the agents like are the well-known financiers of the world. My friend didn't believe any of this. He just thought that the Fed of the U.S. is the central bank, and the Fed controls the currency or supply or something like that. So there are a lot of other things that he was told by that person in Hong Kong. And then so my friend didn't believe that. He would just say, "Oh, you're just making nonsense. It's not." But he also saw that person meeting with the officials or people who work with the Fed of the U.S., the New York Fed, and then. But my friend still didn't believe them. Didn't believe that because they were saying a lot of strange things like bloodlines, like a lot of things that really didn't make sense to my friend. But it makes perfect sense to me nowadays. And then, but my friend didn't believe any of this. So in order to make my friend believe, that person in Hong Kong took my friend to a branch of a local Hong Kong bank, HSBC, the VIP service. And then using my friend's passport, that person in Hong Kong opened a bank account for my friend using his passport, using his name. And then that person in Hong Kong deposited $5 billion into that bank account. And then my friend just didn't believe what was happening. And he said, "Where did the money come from? Like, how could you have so much money and to deposit into the bank account in my name?" And then he said that,
not million, billion.
$5 billion. And then he said, there are money that floats in the banking system. For example, when a person issues a check, but it's not deposited by the counterparty immediately. So during this time frame, the money floats in the banking system. So they're able to take advantage of that, and then to use that that money. And there are other things like people who are dead and they still have bank accounts, and then they're able to use that money as well. So those are the things my friend was told. And then my friend, after the incident, he lost touch with the person in Hong Kong. But I'm just telling you, just showing you that there are people not just my friend who had this personal experience, but also other people like Stephen Greer, who also told that certain people can deposit like billions of dollars or can give billions of dollars to him in order to keep his mouth shut. And there are also other like stories of people who may be credible and who also said that there are people who can just control billions of dollars and you don't know who those people are. So I think there's a person called Ronald Bernard, a Dutch banker, who also testified that he used to work for members of the Illuminati. And he also said that they through the Bank of International Settlements, they control the financial system of the world.
There's a lot of things going behind the scenes we don't know, that's for sure. And they basically control every government in the world and tell them what to do. It's like a friend of mine in Switzerland. He said there's in Zurich, no, in Basel, there's a building there. Every 3 months, there's some very important people come together. And they make a decision what's going on around the world. And that happens all the time, constantly. Yeah, that's. I mean, you hear a lot of stories, you know, what's going on. But the 12 families, go back to the 12 families. There must be the kingpin of that they make the decisions, and unfortunately. The rest of the people let them do it, you know, like it's our fault too that they have such power. Everybody is too complacent, that's the problem. Everybody believes whatever they hear on the media or what they're told. Nobody thinks for themselves. That's the main problem. People have to wake up and think for themselves. Is that right? You know, and not just take. Like in the corona pandemic, everybody fell for it. I could not believe that people are so stupid. You know, worldwide, they all believe that horrible story. You know, there was no pandemic. There was no. It was all pushed onto people, and people believed it. Yes. And then they introduced the vaccination. Killed, I don't know how many people got killed just from the jab. You're probably aware of that, I assume.
Yeah, you know. So that's the story, yeah. So I would really encourage you to read the book that I translated from German to English. I think the English version is probably better, unless you want to read the German original. That's also fine, yeah.
So Michel said that Trump will get assassinated. Did he say that he's gonna be dead or just an attempt?
No, he just thinks that he's going to be assassinated. He just said that people were going to do that to him, and he didn't say that he was going to be dead.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, it's one prediction who came true. I don't know how in the process, when I translated the book, I was 100% sure that the story was true. But I had in between, I had periods where I thought, hang on a minute, the story mightn't be true. I don't know if you had the same. I mean, everybody, that's a human emotion. I had certain times when I said, oh, yeah, is it true? Did he make it up? I mean, there's always a possibility. If you do not see it with your own eyes and you hear it with your own ears, it's a second-hand story, okay?
Yeah, the only question I had was, since the blacks and the yellows came from Baccaratini originally, and if they look alike, then that's fine. But the Caucasians came from a different planet, and the Polynesians also came from a different planet. and the Hebrews also came from a different planet. But when they came to Earth, we all look alike. I mean, we have 2 eyes, 1 nose, and we all look like basically like human beings. It's just the skin colors are different. But
Yeah,
we all came from different planets originally. That's the only question I had.
Yeah. The only different person who looked completely different was Archie. Remember Archie?
Yes.
He must have been, yeah, a complete different, square looking with feathers and quite a different appearance.
I don't know if like if people originally looked all the same on different planets, like the Caucasian people from their planet, the Hebrews from their planet, the blacks and the yellows and the Polynesians from Arimal X3, if they were all looking very similarly on their original planets, or if they like changed their appearances after coming to Earth. I don't know which way is correct.
Don't know. I mean, the Hebrews be still the same, and the ones he mentioned who came to our planet, like the Mayans and the from Aremo X3, that I think they all looked similar, because when they stopped on the way over, they still looked like us on the wherever that planet was. Where do you think is that Aremo X3 planet?
Yeah, I have no answer.
You think it must be in a different solar system. And one question, I don't know if you asked that Archie, where did he come from? You mean he had a spaceship which wasn't quite capable of doing light speed, and it got from wherever he came from to Thiaoouba. So it must have been a long way away. It must have been weeks, maybe even months on a trip just to get there. You know, like the Thiaoubas that did it in 1 day, roughly, a bit more than 1 day. And they traveled different, many times the speed of light, and in between they had the transubstantiation, or they jumped some time, a time jumper or something.
Yeah, like teleportation. And I would assume that the Archie, they have the ability of doing teleportation or transubstantiation, like Michelle said.
Yeah.
I would assume that they would be capable of doing that. It's just that their traveling speed is not up to what the Thiaoubans had.
Yeah, no, I wondered how long it took him to get there, and where did he come from?
Right.
A different solar system, as a solar system, or was he? There's also there's one passage in there where Archie talks to Michelle, and all of a sudden he gets interrupted.
Yes.
Remember this passage?
I remember.
What do you think was? I don't think it was the aura they talked about. I think there was something else going on.
Yeah.
Because after that, he got killed. I mean, it's very, it doesn't fit together somehow. That story, like he left and then his spaceship blew up, and with him and 5 other people. So I think there's something else going on there too, which is not in the book.
Yeah, I don't think Michelle knew this or knew this. I don't think he knew this. But did you ask all the questions to Tom Chaco?
Yeah, he didn't know. I mean, he only can, his opinion, or nobody knows exactly, the only people who know are the Thiaoouba people. You only can sort of assume, and when you start to assume, you usually get off track. You can make up your own opinion, but is your opinion right or wrong, or you don't know? That's the problem. That's why it was so important to talk to Michel. He was the only one. He was the only one. Now he's dead. the only one who knew all the answers, or most of them, and not all the answers. But anyway, you still haven't told me. You said you put that answer, some of the questions you asked for Michael in that second coming of Christ. What exactly did you put in there?
So if you really read the article carefully, and also if you look at the title, the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, that's actually, I thought that would have been the answer, the second coming of Christ. Is Christ coming again to earth somehow?
So if you read the article, I'm just telling you, I'm probably not going to make this video public, but I'm going to say that it's just from the title, you're going to ask the question, what's the time, manner, and place? Like all the questions, all the elements of an event that's going to happen. So if you read the article, you're going to see the time, you're going to see the manner, you're going to see the locations, and you're going to see if there's a condition. And then if you just read the article, you're going to see like all the things, all the elements are being answered. For example, if you click on the links that are in the article, you're going to see that the future is changeable depending on our actions. So that's a condition.
Yeah, it is definitely, and you say that. I mean, the future is not written in stone; it can change constantly. Yeah, and that's another. I had another question there. The Thiaoouba said they can look 100 years in the future, 100 years. But how can they do that if anything can change immediately to different, if everything can change instantly. If somebody makes a different decision, everything changes, or even in your own life. You make that decision, your complete life goes a different way. You make another decision, you go this way. And how can they predict 100 years in advance?
So if you look at the article that I wrote, and also the link to another article about the psychosphere and also the...
you have a few links to some biblical texts. I've seen that, yeah?
Yes. So you're going to see that certain things are set in stone. For example, earthquakes and certain things related to the natural patterns of Earth. They're set in stone. But yes, but when the events or things relate to people or human beings, there's additional element of free will. So when there's free will, then there's some kind of uncertainty. It depends on the free will of the people. So when they say they can only see into the future for about 100 years or so, that means the free will of the people has a lot to do to the future direction of the world. So, or certain events that are going to happen in the future. So when they look into the future, they can see probabilities. The closer to now, the more probable they are going to see certain events that are going to happen. The farther into the future, then they're going to see like more vague or things that may or may not happen in the future. So those things are the things that are related to the human actions or collective consciousness.
Yeah, yes, I know what you mean. It puts up the questions, when Michel had to write the book, right? That's my argument. If they can see in the future, they knew the outcome, exactly the outcome of the book, how the book gonna react, or be received on our planet, and did it have any positive effect or didn't it have a positive effect? If they've seen that already, and it didn't have effect, why doing all this? There's no point in it. If they know it didn't work, why would they do it? That's my argument.
Of course, it would have positive effect on the people. For example, it's actually the bestseller in China and Taiwan, and you can see the change of people's attitude after reading the book. And also, some people really are enlightened by this book, and they meditate frequently or periodically, and their ways of living have changed because of the book. So it's definitely making a certain impact on a lot of people.
It definitely has an impact, but they also were talking about we only have a certain amount of time to change the history of our planet, otherwise it's too late. They said nobody can change. If it goes to a certain point, even they can't do anything about it anymore. The planet going to be destroyed, or I don't know what's going to happen. And they said it's very limited time left to change it. That was 20 years ago. And around the planet, nobody did anything major to change anything. They only talk. All the politicians just talk. There was, I don't know, and Tom reckons the same. There was nothing was done, nothing concrete was done. They only talk.
So when people talk about changes, they always want to look at what the politicians have done. But the real major great changes always come from the people. It's always a grassroots movement. It doesn't come from the politicians. So this is what I'm trying to get. And I don't know if you're able to participate or help as well, just to, at a grassroots level, to really help people to wake up and be enlightened, either through this book or other means, just something that can make great changes happen at the basic level.
Do you think the book has a major impact and to save the planet?
I believe so. And I'm trying to, because
what sort of changes did you see? Say what happened since the book came out?
I can only speak on the people in China because I know a lot of them read the book, and their attitude and their ways of dealing with others or their friends changed after reading the book. Before they were more focused on money, or they were lost in future directions, and now they know the meaning of life, so they do their best to have a more fulfilling, more compassionate life.
Okay, yeah.
In helping others.
Yeah. But the pollution. I mean, the big Tao stated it a few times. The biggest threat is the pollution on our Earth, not climate change and all this. Climate change comes from the pollution. The problem is the pollution. If you read the book, the pollution is we pollute our planet to such a degree that it can't recover anymore. And Tom reckons the same. It will nothing in that field happen to change anything. They didn't bring out hydrogen cars. They brought us idiotic bloody electric cars out. I don't know if you know electric cars, but it makes more damage to the planet to build a battery, or it's
right.
ridiculous. It goes the opposite direction.
You're absolutely right on this about the batteries. Pollution is only one of the issues. The other issues, I mean, this is when I met Michel Demarquet. I showed him Tom Chaco's website about the core of Earth heating and resulting in catastrophes, and Michel said that's nonsense. So this is the disagreement between Michel Demarquet and Tom Chaco. So I think pollution is environmental issues is probably only one side of the question, and the bigger issue is technology. Actually, I think technology is is making people more kind of disassociated from the society, and they make people more selfish other than being more compassionate. So I think technology is probably the biggest issue down the road, especially with artificial intelligence and also some of the other technological changes that are happening, like quantum computing. I think is a great danger to the human psyche. And I think that's actually the real danger.
Yes, definitely. This is well, noise and a lot of other things. But the warnings, I think, there's. If you, how often have you read the book actually, Samuel? How often have you read it? The book?
I read that quite a few times.
Quite a few times. Yeah. You know, I must have read it 20, 30 times. And I tell you this, you probably know that yourself. Every time I read this book, I find something new.
Yeah.
Something I missed or read over it, or it's absolutely saturated with information. It's amazing how much information is in this book. It doesn't seem to be, but once you read, oh, hang on, I missed this one. I didn't see it last time. And I've seen it this time. And anyway, the warnings, the very strong warnings in that book over and over again that the pollution is the big problem. They said once the planet disappears, that's it. There's no second chance. Of course, our psyche is very important too, and our astral body and all this, and noise pollution and all that. But in one way, or in one sense, they talk about saving the planet, not saving us so much, or saving people. I mean, people die and get reincarnated, but there's a big issue that pointed towards look after your planet, otherwise it's gonna disappear.
Yeah, the pollution is one of the problems. I think there are other problems too. But I also want to ask.
I mean, it's just the planet of sorrow somewhere.
Yes.
It's we have to put that into the whole picture as well. I mean, we are on a planet of learning.
Yeah, I also want to ask
where
you.
We are.
In the email that you sent me, you mentioned that Tom Chaco telling you that the body of Christ was in the golden doko because they might use it again. This is the. Yeah. So under what circumstances this topic was brought up?
Oh, we were just talking along. What was it again? Maybe I ask a question or something. But it's an interesting point if you, Samuel, think about it. Why would I keep bodies for 2,000 years? And those people, Thiaoubans, that do everything for a reason. That's not just an accident or they do it like because they think, oh, it looks nice and I keep them. There is a specific reason for everything they do. Exactly, they know exactly what they're doing. And why would they keep a body for 2,000 years?
I mean, I think
it doesn't make sense.
I mean, it may be just for commemorating service like purposes. Just
they don't need that. They don't need that. They have it all up here. They don't need it. They don't have statues like we have, or to have a statue there from this man or from this man. No, they don't need that. It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual with those people.
The other counter argument would be if they're capable of making a body of Christ before 2,000 years ago, then they can make a new one in 24 hours, even with the injuries of the whipping and things like that. They can just make another one in 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. But again, for them, maybe it's a waste. Why would I do it twice if they have it? Or I mean, I don't know what the reason is, but Samuel, I'm sure there's a reason, a specific reason for that, why they do that. And it's not just to keep him there and every now and then I have a look, like we have a gravestone and go there and visit the grave every now and then. There must be maybe there's a second coming of Christ. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, that's in the Bible, and the Bible is sort of distorted. You don't know what's real and what's not real. What was, there's too much distortion in any religions. You can't follow a religion, really. You have to make your own mind up what's real and what's not real.
So there are a lot of different possibilities. This is actually, the possibilities are described in the book. One possibility would be like the people on Lemuria, in which they were so civilized and advanced spiritually that the Theubans initiated the contact with them and became their friends and also guides and mentors. The other possibility would be kind of like on the planet Baccaratini, in which there were nuclear wars, and then the Theubans gave a lot of warnings, but in vain. So nuclear war still broke out. So they intervened, but didn't succeed in changing the course of the history. And then the third option would be like in Sodom and Gomorrah, in which the things went so bad and they killed the citizens or the people in the two cities. And maybe there are other possibilities, such as just having Michel Demarquet write a book, hoping that the future can be changed by people, more and more people waking up. And then, so there are a lot of different possibilities, and this is why I've been so focused on spreading the messages in the book, hoping that more and more people can wake up and through collective actions to change the future.
100%. Did you find, just a personal question, I handed the book out to so many people, and I only got one friend. He got it. He got the message. You hand a book out, and then you don't hear about it, and then sometimes ringing, did you read the book? And I know instantly when he said, he doesn't ask questions, or it totally went past him. There's only, I think, one. Actually, I only can say one person I handed the book out, he completely got it. He understood what's in the book. All the others didn't get it. I don't know if you had the same experience, but not everybody. And it says in the book too, there's one line. I think it's in the first few pages. It's a book written for some certain people on this planet. Remember, there's a passage that's highlighted.
I remember.
And I think it got something to do with that. Because some that just don't, it's a nice book, yeah, it's okay, and that's it.
Yeah, so this is what I've been trying to do in the future. I've been working on this in the future. I just got my JD degree, Juris Doctor's degree, after spending a number of years in law school, and I just took the bar exam. And I'm hoping that I can have more credentials after becoming like a lawyer, so that what I say is going to be believed by more people. But my goal is to bring the people into this the world of unknown, the world of paranormal, the world of mysteries, the meaning of life, and the validity of reincarnation. So I'm going to be kind of promoting some of the knowledge that people don't necessarily know, but the knowledge that's also related to their daily life that they need. For example, how to become healthier, how to make more money, and how to find true love. I think that people always try to find answers, but I'm going to try to use my personal experiences working as an interpreter, Chinese translator, knowing the secrets of behind the scenes, and giving them answers that they most of the time would overlook or omit, and then they would see values of those answers, and then I'm going to lead them into the way of certain scientific research studies on reincarnation, on past lives, and also the mysteries of the pyramid, and also like the missing people, and then the possibility of having extraterrestrial life guiding us, and also throughout history, having this kind of possibility, the message of possibility of this kind of information conveyed in the book, hoping that they can just through this build up of interest and credibility, and they can be interested in doing additional research on topics mentioned in this book.
It's, yeah, I mean, you're right that sometimes I think people are not evolved enough to understand the book, or certain people, not all of them, but certain, or that too carried away with all our technology, with you know, instance the mobile phone, you know, like you look around, you walk down the street and have a look how many people are got this bloody phone in front of their face. They got nothing else in their head. There's no spirituality left. It's a total materialistic way of living. That's all they do. They want to see, oh, who is the next contact, and something that it takes everything else over.
Yes.
And that there's nothing left for spirituality, or you know, like that you give them the book to read. It's that it's totally like a blank. That's like they have a blank in front of their eyes.
Yes, I'm actually a little bit curious about you. What kind of work did you do in Germany or Australia? I don't know.
I'm sort of semi-retired. I sell I sell time. If you want some time, I sell you some time. That's a joke. I sell clocks. I'm in the clock business. I sell cuckoo clocks. I sell grandfather clocks. I sell wall clocks. Any kind of clocks you can imagine. I sell. I import clocks from Germany and I sell them here again.
I see.
And I repair them as well. And I got heaps of hobbies.
Okay.
My kids do the job. I'm totally only go there when they need me.
When did you move to Australia? Like how old were you when you moved to Australia?
Oh, I was 19 going on 20. I was 20 when I migrated to Australia. That was in 1967, but long before you were born.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And I was here for 4 years, just traveling around and having a good time. And then I went back again, and I got married in Germany, and then all of a sudden I had that pull again. I had to come back here.
I see.
Don't ask. There's a reason behind too. I often ask me the question, why did I come to Australia? Or what's the reason? What's the reason behind it? Maybe it's a Thiaoouba book, I don't know. Maybe because I wouldn't have found it over there. So I came back again in 1974, and I've been over 50 years here now.
Is your wife open to this book?
No, that's just, she's not interested in that. Yeah, it's not interesting. You know, you can't force people. It has to come within. If you're interested in something, it has to. You know, you can advise it and say, read that. But if they don't want it, you can't force them. That's just like it is. For instance, like Michelle's wife, Luna. I mean, they got divorced after.
Lena,
yeah. She didn't believe him. It's extraordinary if you think about it. He was gone for 9 days, and he was totally exhausted when he came back, and all what he told him, and she thought he had an affair. I mean, I know Michael, I studied Michael. He was a womanizer. There's no doubt about that. Michelle was a womanizer. All the talks he gave, I talked to a few women who've seen him, you know, on the talks and all that. There's nothing wrong with it, but he liked women. That's a point, and I mean, I bet from the story and from how his wife reacted, he must have had affairs before. A wife doesn't react like that if nothing happened before. You know?
You're right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, that's one side of Michel. That's his private life, and then he got married again in Vietnam, apparently. Yeah. The second wife, and some people even reckon he was married a third time, but that's not true. Mm-hmm. That's just Michel. I mean, that's, and sometimes if you sort of look at a person, you know, for the action and what he done, it sort of put me a little bit off the book, you know.
Yes.
The character of a person is very important.
Yes.
But why did I choose him? Then I asked, why did I choose him? You know, there was a Soku, ID1 lives, and there's only a few Sokus. They never explained why Sokus don't go up the ladder, you know, go to where they want to go. Mm-hmm. He come back to planet 1. And Michel himself, he reckons in one of his interviews I've seen, he said himself, I was on planet 7. I was on category 7.
Yes, yes.
And then he did something in his past life, the last life, I think. He sort of did something bad or something. Yeah. So he come back to this planet. But
do you know what he did wrong?
I don't think this happened. I think he's mistaken. I don't think he was on planet 7. If you're on category 7 planet, you're very highly involved. You would not make a mistake like that to bring you back to very unlikely. Very unlikely. He might just was sort of hoping he was on planet 7, category 7. I don't know.
I think it's a possibility that he made a mistake, considering that the fact that he, when he was a German miner, and he drank so much that he accidentally killed his wife. And then when I met him in Vietnam, he was still drinking very heavily. Even if I ever, yeah, he was still drinking very heavily when we were in Vietnam.
Was he? Yeah.
He was smoking and drinking the second time, at least.
I seen once a photo, he was even smoking.
Yes, yes. Yeah. You know, if I were like a person who made a mistake in my past life, I would never drink again.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just that kind of person, but Michel just didn't remember the lessons that he learned. I mean, it's very reasonable for him to make a mistake on category 7 planet based on his character that I know.
Yeah, maybe it's the character, but sometimes the reaction from Michael, that's my own opinion. Like he wanted money for his books, you know, like, I mean, he's entitled to, but if I would have been Michel and asked to write a book, for me it would be a privilege. I wouldn't even dream about of asking any money value. I wouldn't dream about it. I thought that's the biggest privilege you can have if those people ask you to write a book. And then Michel, he had no problem asking for money.
Let me tell this. I agree with Michel Desmarquet because, like, if people paid for the book, they're going to treat this book more seriously. They're going to read it, more likely to read it. You know, I give this book for free to a lot of.
That's not what I meant. I meant he asking for money. Not because that's a different story. If people pay for the book, they read it better, 100%. I'm talking about Michael's wanting to get money for the book. That's what I'm talking about. Michael wanted money from me once just because I translated it from English into German. He wanted money. He wanted money for that. Oh, it didn't wash with me at all. That's what.
So you translated the book into German. He wanted you to pay him in order to translate the book and sell it.
Yeah. That's one instant. That was when I doubted his whole story. That's when I doubted. I thought, hang on a minute, is that story true or not? Yeah, because I could not understand his thinking at all.
Let me tell you this. I don't know if it makes sense. When a publisher contacts like a writer, like an author, to publish the book in a different language, normally the publisher would be responsible for translating, promoting, publishing and promoting the book. And the publisher normally gives between like 6 to 10% of the sales proceeds to the writer, to the copyright holder. And they normally pay about $2,000 in as a deposit or in advance. And then the future royalties would be deducted from the $2,000 until the royalties exceed the $2,000, and then they would pay the copyright holder like periodically based on the sales proceeds, 10% or something. So this is the industry norm. I don't know if that explains why he was asking for money.
He was short of money for some reason, and I could buy the right. I could buy of him the right for the German. How was it for the German translation? Or it was the way it was after. It wasn't. It just didn't. It didn't. There was something wrong. It just didn't. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't even. As I said, I wouldn't even think about asking any money at all. I mean, but he totally was focused. He wanted money from this book. That was his book, and he wanted. He didn't understand. Sometimes he thought he didn't understand any of the thing what's in the book. You know, he wrote the book.
He didn't understand
the contents of the book was totally different than what he was thinking or acting.
Also, I can tell you
completely different. That's what I mean.
Also, I can tell you that for some of the other languages, like the Slovenian language and maybe Greek, they just have the copyright and they didn't pay Michelle anything, and Michelle didn't ask. I mean, Michelle asked for money, but because the language or the publishers, the language is very small and the sales proceeds are not that much, so Michelle just let them have it published without receiving any money.
I mean, now Tom sort of did the computer thing, and he had to really bargain with saying he wanted that the book goes free online, the ebook. And Tom made a point. It got to be free on. I don't want to charge any money. You can donate money if you want to. That's fine, but it goes free, and all the translations are on the ebook are free internationally, and they're still free today. You don't have to pay for them.
Yeah, I can tell
that. Not the hard copy. The hard copies are different. I understand that's a different thing again. If you print books and you want your money back, that's okay. But to make profit out of it.
I have
on a book like that. Think about it. Come on.
Okay. I only have 6 minutes left. 5 minutes left because I have another meeting. Let me make my point. So in order for the book to be widely distributed, it has to utilize the distribution channels of a major established publisher. So the publisher has agreements, but they wouldn't have the book published if the book is distributed free of charge on the internet. In China, we are able to pass it to bypass it, because even though there's a Chinese version available or freely available online, we made a different translation. We made a better translation. So the publisher is able to publish it using the better translation. So there are two different groups of people. One that prefers to read a book free of charge, one that doesn't have the ability to pay or not willing to pay. The other is that they prefer to buy the book from an established publisher. So we have to capture both groups of people. So I think we have to distribute it free of charge, but at the same time, we also have to utilize the distribution channels of a publisher.
I understand all that. You have to, if you haven't got the money, at least you get your money back, and it has to be financed. But what I meant to ask you, could I have a copy of your Chinese version for my collection?
Yes, of course, I can.
I'm happy to pay you for that if you or the ebook.
How about this? Ebook probably not, but when I go to Australia, maybe sometime later this year, I'll bring a few copies.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great.
And maybe you can contact Tom Chaco and to also see if we can meet him as well, or maybe another arrangement. I'm going to be going to Cairns and also Sydney for sure, but I'm not sure about the other cities. I might go around Australia, going to maybe fly, maybe drive, and probably not drive, but go to Alice Springs and also Perth as well, in addition to Melbourne and Brisbane.
Alice Springs to Ayers Rock. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. When do you plan to do that?
I haven't decided yet. It depends on my schedule. I have to plan with my family.
Okay. All right. You married?
Yes, I'm married.
Oh, good. Have kids?
Yes, I have 2 children. How about you? Do you have any children?
I got 3.
Oh, are they
growing up? My oldest one be 50 shortly.
Oh, are you are they receptible to the book? Receptive?
Not 100%. I cannot. I mentioned it to them, but they maybe still a bit too young to understand. I mean, they're old enough to understand it, but as I said, the book is not for everyone. I figured that one out. But to the thing why we have this, how many minutes we got left?
Well, 2 minutes left, but we have another conversation in the future because I have a meeting at 5.
Have you got any other information from Michael you wanted to tell me? The other secret ones?
I just want you to read the other book. I'm going to send you an email with a link. That book reveals additional information that corroborates with the information or additional information from the Book Thiaoouba Prophecy. That book is a must read for you because you are enlightened and you're probably going to get the messages from in the other book. So I would like you to read that book and let me know what you think about it.
Send me a link for that. Yeah.
I'll do that. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right, Samuel, it was nice talking to you, and I wish you all the best, and keep going what you're doing, promote the book, and it will change. It will have an effect on us and all on the planet. I'm sure it will. And let's hope we don't implode or something.
We are not going to implode for sure. Okay, great. If you want to continue the conversation, we can arrange another time, and have a great day today.
Okay, you too. Okay, and all the best off in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.